Hey everyone, Brent here from Old Men Toy Soldiers, and I'm going to go through a very simple basing method for your miniatures. What you're going to need is play sand, or any kind of sand, fine sand. I bought this at a building supply store. A cheap brown, dark brown paint. This is Craft Smart Espresso. Some watered down PVA. Now, not too watered down. You still want it to be thick, like syrup. Like syrup or corn syrup. Okay, here we go. So, got a base, a mini here. It's a horse from Wargames factory, which has since been subsumed into Warlord Games. But in any case, so you take the mini, and I generally prime the mini first because the watered down glue tends to bead off of the bare plastic. So here we go. Glue it onto your base first. Take your glue, spread it onto your mini. So we're going to do 2 coats. First coat, actually, I recommend just going around it first. And that'll build up a first layer. That'll sort of take the sand up to the level of the mini base, and then we'll put a second layer on it. Okay, so we've got that. You just dip it and tap it, and there you go. Okay, all right, so let that dry. I've let it dry here, so here we go. We're going to go with a second layer. So now we're going to go right onto the mini base, around the base of the legs, and we're going to want to create a sort of a blend between the sand that we've already put on and the sand that we're about to put on. Careful not to get glue onto the bottom of the feet, because that will cause it to stick there, although you can pick that off later. That's not a huge deal. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've got our glue on there, and now we're going to do that, tap it off, and check the edges to make sure it's not sticking to any of the edges of your base, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so it dries up and looks like that. Okay, next step, we're going to put that away, and we're going to paint the brown on there. Okay, I'm going to water down this brown just a little bit, not too much, because you don't want the white glue to start coming up. Okay, and you don't have to be careful at all with this. You just ram it on there, because you're going to paint the mini later, and you're going to touch up the outside of the base with black or whatever you like to touch up the outside of your base with, and that's it. Voila. Okay, so now when you paint it, it's going to look fairly light. When it dries, compare that. See, so paint is always going to be darker when it dries. Okay, so here's your finished version, and now you're ready to paint. You can see this one I just started on painting, and here's a version of and so what you're going to do is you're going to dry brush just a lighter brown onto here, and you can see that I've done it here just to create a little more texture, and then from there you can add flocking, tufts of grass, or whatever you want. Okay, so there you go. Simple basing, very effective. I do this with my Flames of War miniatures as well. Here's an example. All right, I put some other little rocks in there, and there it is, finished with a bit of flocking. Okay, so cheap, effective, fast, and I just find it's a very good way of going about it. So subscribe or like if you enjoyed this, and we'll have more content soon. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.